Es que algunos querían ver el hueco de mi cabeza, entonces decían que no había suficiente luz.
Okay, good. You will be in English class, right?
Oh yes, so many people wanted to see the hole in my head, so therefore I'm putting more light. So now we'll just chant a little bit. Let's see who's online. A couple of devotees from Trinidad. I was thinking there would be more, but anyway, let's see what happens. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatihira Vanachari Yamunatihira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Gaur Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namaste Nrshimhaya Prahlada Daine. Namaste Nrshimhaya Prahlada Daine. Hiranyakashipo Vakshaha Shilatanka Nakalaye. Hiranyakashipo Vakshaha Shilatanka Nakalaye. Isho Nisingha Parato Nisingho Yato Yato Yami Tato Nisingho Yato Yami Tato Nisingho Yato Yami Tato Nisingho Bahi Nisingho Vidaye Nisingho Nisinghamadim Sharanam Praptade. Bahi Nisingho Hridaye Nisingho Nisinghamadim Sharanam Praptade. Tavakara Kamala Vare Nakamadbhuta Singha Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tanubringha Keshabhajita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Nisinghare, 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 Jaya Nisinghare. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Mr. Paramahansa Paribhajacharya Ashtotara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vindiki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Sikh Ho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shiva Shari Gaur Bhaktavinda ki, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki, Vrindavan Dham ki, Mayapur Dham ki, Ganga Mai ki, Jamuna Mai ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Samabhatta Bhaktavinda ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Brihat Miranga ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Shri Nrshimha Avirbhava Mahotsava ki, Shri Nrshimha Caturdasi ki, Shri Nrshimha Bhagavan ki, Shri Prasad Maharaj ki, Shri Prabhupada ki. Todas, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. I just wanted to ask Vrindavan Nath, who's here, it seems like maybe the Jagya in Trinidad hasn't finished yet. Can you inform me? Vrindavan Nath? Haribol?
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol Gurudev.
Yes.
We are by Seva and her family, so everyone is on.
Oh, everybody, so there's many people watching from one computer or something?
No, Gurudev, it's just from on the phone here, just Seva, myself, Rasa Sindhu, and Vrindavanat watching here right now.
Well, I thought more devotees would come on. That's why I was thinking maybe the Jagya hasn't finished yet.
No, the Jagya has finished.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody's hungry, I guess. I don't know. Not hungry for knowledge, hungry for prasadam, which is good. That's also a very nice thing. No? So before I chant the mantra, I've chosen a couple mantras. I wanted to chant something which I chanted this morning. Many things I said this morning I will say now, but repeat it, and other things I'll add in. So first I would like to chant some Nrshimha mantras, which are given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, beginning with a very famous one. Sri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa. All glories to Nrsimhadev, all glory to Nrsimhadev, who is the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj, and like a honeybee, is always beholding the lotus-like face of the goddess of fortune. It says here the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj, but the actual Prahlad Isha, yes, the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj is good enough. So in the purport, there are some mantras given by Prasad Swami in his commentaries of the Bhagavatam. Bhagisha yasya badane lakshmi yasya chapakshasi yasyasti hridaye sambit tam nrsingham aham bhaje. Lord Nrsimhadev is always assisted by Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and he is always embracing the goddess of fortune to his chest. The Lord is always complete in knowledge within himself. Let us offer obeisances to Nrsimhadev. Pralada hridayaladham bhakta vidya vidaranam shadadinduruchim bande parindra badanam harim. Let me offer my obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadev, who is always enlightening Prahlad Maharaj within his heart and who always kills the nescience that attacks the devotees. His mercy is distributed like moonshine, and his face is like that of a lion. Let me offer obeisances to him again and again. And there's another, the last mantra, chanted by Lord Chaitanya. Ugrop yanugra evayam swabhaktanam nitkeshari keshari bha swapotanam anisham ugra vikrama. Although this verse was composed by Sridhar Swami, it was chanted by Mahaprabhu. Although very ferocious, the lioness is very kind to her cubs. Similarly, although very ferocious to non-devotees, like Hiranyakashipu. Lord Nrsimhadev is very, very soft and kind to devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. So now we will go to the Bhagavatam. I am going to chant different Bhagavatam verses. Then I chanted, let me just, somehow or another, the verse disappeared. Let me find it again. 5:18. So I'm going to read two verses. These are 8 prayers. This is from 8 prayers chanted by Prahlad Maharaj to Lord Nrsimhadev in the 5th canto, which is a little different from his prayers. These are prayers offered from the heavenly planets. So they're a little different, but they're very, very, very instructive. So I will chant. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'll read first the verse, 5th canto, 18th chapter, text number 7. Om Namo Bhagavate Nrsimhaya. Namaste Tejasve Avirbhava. Rajanakra Vajadamsta Kamashayam Randhaya Randhaya Tamo Grasa Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam 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 Atmani Bhuyishta Om Shram. So the translation by Srila Prabhupada. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in the material world. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhuttale Swayam Rupa Kadatmaham Darati Shvaparantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhuttale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Dishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sya Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I just, before reading the purport, I just wanted to emphasize what Prahlad Maharaj is saying here. He's not asking Lord Nrsimhadev, like there are mantras where we ask Lord Nrsimha to kill our enemies, to eliminate everything and satisfy my desire to serve him. But this prayer is the most important prayer because, oh my Lord, you are so ferocious. Use your ferocity to vanquish the demoniac desires for fruitive activity in the material world. Otherwise, this is our enemy. Our enemy is the desire for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy, we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in the material world. The main problem in the material world is envy. And from envy comes fear. So everyone is fearful because we're envious of Krishna. Because all envy, if you're envious of someone, you're envious of Krishna to some degree. Because everything comes from Krishna. Everyone comes from Krishna. And therefore, if we're fully Krishna conscious, we will be favorably inclined to every living entity and we will not be envious because we have everything. If you have Krishna, you have everything. So, so this is very important. He's saying, take your sharp nails, take your sharp teeth, and destroy everything that's inauspicious in my heart. So I was explaining to the devotees in Spanish that when Lord Nrsimhadev bifurcates the stomach of Hiranyakashipu and puts the intestine over his head, he's really referring to this verse in action, that he is vanquishing the demoniac desires from inside us and taking that burden upon himself to free us from those fruitive activities and desires to enjoy the material world. So we'll read the purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam 4:22-39, Sanat Kumar speaks the following words to Maharaj Prithu. Pada pangacha palasha vidasa bhaktya kamashayam grati tam udgatayanti santaha tavat narikta matayo yatayo pirudha shoto ganashtam aranam bhajava sudevam. Devotees always engage in the service of the toes of the Lord's lotus feet and can very easily become free from the hard knotted desires for fruitive activities. That hard knotted desire, karma granta, it's referred to in the 5th chapter by Lord Rishabdev, that hridaya granti, the knot in the heart, can only be eliminated by tapo divyam, transcendental austerity. The transcendental austerity, Srila Prabhupada said once that a devotee said, Prabhupada, what austerity should we perform? And Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna. So the devotee didn't seem like chanting Hare Krishna was a big problem. And he said, so what else, Prabhupada? And Prabhupada said, chant more. So the solution for our envious condition is to chant Hare Krishna. Every living entity within this material world has a strong desire to enjoy matter to his fullest satisfaction. For this purpose, the conditioned soul must accept one body after another, and thus his strongly fixed fruitive desires continue. One cannot stop the repetition of birth and death without being completely desireless. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami describes pure bhakti, devotional service, as follows. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karma janavritam anakulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. So how do we gain by philosophical speculation? We gain prestige, recognition. So this is actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that fame, recognition, and popularity in this material world is the most dangerous type of material desire. He said that it is an extension of our desire for sex life, that we want to be known, we want to be worshipped. Unless one is completely freed from all material desires, which are caused by the dense darkness of ignorance, one cannot fully engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, we should always offer our prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev, who killed Hiranyakashipu, the personification of material desire. So this is a very important thing that Srila Prabhupada says, personification of material desire. Otherwise, whatever we find in the Hiranyakashipu, we understand to the highest degree what it means to have material desire. But we should not put ourselves on the relative platform and think, well, my desires are, very minimal. I just want a new car. But if a car is not available, I'll take a motorcycle or, anything as long as it's new and it runs. No. But I prefer a car. And if you want to give me a car, Lord, better give me a nice one, so it'll last longer. So, but I love you. My life is dedicated to you. So this is the mentality which Hiranyakashipu personifies. He didn't want a car. He didn't want a house. He wanted the whole universe, and he wanted to have more control over the universe. Of course, in one sense, our vision in this material world, and even the vision of Hiranyakashipu, who was a great personality, or great, great meaning powerful. Our vision is Atmavan Manyate Jagat, that I see everything in terms of my own experience and my own intelligence. So in that case, in Hiranyakashipu's case, he wanted a kingdom greater than the kingdom of Lord Brahma. And he was ready to displace Brahma because the only universe he knows is the one he's in. So he's thinking that's everything. He was calling Lord Brahma the Lord of the universe. And he is, in one sense, the Lord of the universe, but he meant it in a very complete way. So when we become puffed up like that, and then, but we just become more sophisticated in our animal activities. And so Srila Prabhupada, when he was speaking about this point, he said, Punar Mushiko Bhava, which is the story of the mouse who approached the sadhu to become a cat because he said the cat was bothering him. Aspirando muchas cosas en este mundo, estamos temerosos de fracaso, de peligro, como el COVID-19 o cualquier cosa. Y pedimos al Señor para una mejor situación, pero siempre mantenemos la misma mentalidad de disfrutar este mundo. Y cuando uno llega a la máxima posición dentro de este mundo, una mushiko bhava. Uno tiene que regresar a otra especie de la vida, o una especie mucho más bajo.
Sorry, Gurudev, you are speaking in Spanish.
I'm sorry. So when he became a tiger, he wanted to eat I've been giving almost all lectures in Spanish, so I just kind of got off track. So he wanted to eat the sage, and the sage said, Punar Mushiko Bhava, again you become a mouse. Otherwise, Krishna says that to us. When we want more and more in this material world, but we maintain the same animalistic mentality, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, then Krishna says, okay, you want animal life, my material nature will facilitate you. You want to sleep? Well, you can become a bear or a turtle. There are turtles that sleep for 3 years. Or you want sex life? Become a pigeon. Why have so much anxiety about it and so many arrangements? So if you want to eat, become a cow or a horse. A cow would be very noble, maybe a horse better, or a mule or a donkey. So whatever we want, Krishna will facilitate. And therefore we have to want Krishna, we have to desire Krishna. We can't try to utilize Krishna to obtain what we want. There was a devotee, Ramadas, who met Raghunath Bhatta Goswami on his way from Varanasi to Puri. And that devotee, Ramadas, he was renowned as a great devotee of Ram, always chanting his names. So he finally convinced Raghunath Bhatta that he could accompany him and help him with his belongings. When he arrived in Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya embraced Raghunath Bhatta and just kind of looked at Ramadas. And finally, Ramadas came to the Lord in great anxiety. Please make me one with you. I want to be one with you. So the pastime of Hiranyakashipu and Nrsimhadev, Hiranyakashipu wanted everything. He wanted the whole universe. No. And for Krishna, Krishna can give him one universe or two or three, but because his desire was impure, then Krishna gave him death. No. I was discussing this morning how in Bhagavad Gita it says, Krishna says, time I am destroyer of worlds. So if someone doesn't worship Krishna, they will worship Krishna at the time of death by offering dandavats. And Krishna will accept that dandavat and give them another body. But he will not give them what they desire, which will increase their material existence. I'm just going to see if I can find another verse here in this particular canto. I think, let me just see if I can remember it. Here it is. This is a beautiful verse. This is 5:19:27. Satyam dishat artitam artito nrinam naiva tado yat punar atita yataha swayam vidate bhajatam anichchatam ichchan pidanam nichapada palavam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives. Now everyone could say, great, that's what I've been waiting for. But here's the catch. But he does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it. And that shelter satisfies all desires. That is the Supreme Personality's special mercy. No. So we should be free from all material desires. Unless one is completely freed from all material desires, which are the cause of the dense darkness of ignorance, one cannot fully engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, we should always offer our prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev, who killed Hiranyakashipu, the personification of material desire. Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means soft cushion or bed. Materialistic persons always desire to make the body comfortable. And for this, they require huge amounts of gold. Thus, Hiranyakashipu was the perfect representative of materialistic life. He is therefore the cause of great disturbance to the topmost devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. So this is also an indication. When we are full of material desires, we blend in with the materialistic persons. But when we're pure devotees, we become, as it says here, a great disturbance for the materialistic persons, and they become a great disturbance for the devotee. Actually, a devotee is more disturbed, even though sometimes we see people running away from the Harinam with their hands over their ears. But a devotee is very disturbed, not in a negative way, but kripam buddhir paradukkha dukhi. A devotee is very disturbed to see how, as Prahlad Maharaj himself said, tato shoche vimukha chetasa indriyanam. My only lamentation is that the people in this world are running towards sense gratification. Maya sukaya paramudvahato vimudhan, and they increase, they try to increase their material opulence by making so many great arrangements, which ultimately will fail. So that was Prahlad Maharaj. He said, personally, I'm not afraid of material existence. Naivo dvije paraduratya vaitaranyas tadvirya mahana tadvirya gayana tadvirya gayana mahamritam chitta. Anyway, that I'm always chanting your glories, therefore I'm not fearful of anything. But the one thing that disturbs me is that people want to try to enjoy this material world. A devotee by nature is always compassionate. So therefore, it disturbs the devotees to see that people are trying to give up his protection. And therefore, Prahlad Maharaj gives us the inspiration to become preachers of Krishna consciousness. Whether one is a preacher as sannyasi, vanaprastha, brahmachari, or grihastha. Lord Chaitanya told the grihastha, Jari dekatari takaha Krishna upadesh, amaya guru hanya tara eva upadesh. You should invite people to your home and preach to your whole neighborhood, even if it's just one or two people. Give them prasadam. Even if you're not a preacher, invite them for prasadam and invite them to chant the holy name. So a great disturbance for Prahlad Maharaj. Great disturbance is really an understatement, and we'll discuss that later. Until Lord Nrsimhadev killed him, any devotee aspiring to be free from material desires should offer his respectful prayers to Nrsimhadev, as Prahlad Maharaj did in his verse. So this is a very special prayer and a very special indication as to how we should see Lord Nrsimhadev. Not that we just chant his mantra 5 minutes after Mangal Artik and then forget about him, but we should pray that he kills our enemy, which is the material desires in the mind and in the heart. So I just wanted to read the next verse just because it's so beautiful. I won't read the purport. Swastyastu vishvasya kala prasidatam jayantu bhutani shivam mitodiya manascha badram bhajata dadoksaje avishyatam no matir apyahaituki. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons become pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. For by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare and thus give up their envy. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thoughts of him. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes, Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. If we can identify someone as a devotee, we should offer them all respects. So I just wanted to read one small part of the purport, which is very important. Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur has given us a very fine purport in this regard. What is the regard? Let my mind become so clean that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the world. Whenever one offers a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one always requests some benediction from him. Even pure Niskama devotees pray for some benediction, as instructed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshastikam. Ainanda tanuju kinkaram patitam mam vishave bhavam buddho kripayat tavapada pankaja sitiduli sadrisham vichintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or another I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of birth, of death, and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. So, this is these are the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj for bringing good fortune to all. Bringing good fortune to all means that we have to be involved. Just as Prahlad Maharaj said, I cannot sleep, I cannot rest as long as there are living entities suffering, just like Vasudev Datta, who offered to take on all the sinful activities of every living entity in the universe. Now, he lived a long time ago, 500 years, and he was willing to take all these reactions. It wasn't a metaphorical statement that, yeah, I'm saying that, but I would never do it. He was willing to do that. How many millions and trillions and billions and quadrillions of births one would have to take to try to satisfy all the living entities or take on all their sinful reactions. We cannot even imagine the number. So this is the prayer. These are the prayers that Nanda Maharaj, that Prahlad Maharaj offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, I explained this morning that from chapters 3 to chapters 10, we speak about the pastime of Hiranyakashipu, Nrsimhadev, and Prahlad Maharaj. However, so only on part of the 8th chapter, the 9th chapter, and very small part of the 10th chapter does Lord Nrsimhadev really figure in. The rest is about Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu. Because we can understand Krishna just through his devotees. Just like a name for Krishna is Gunatmana, the soul of all good qualities. Otherwise, he is the essence of all good qualities. All good qualities are manifested to the maximum in the Lord. But we cannot understand them because we don't have that vision. And therefore his reflection, they are reflected in the devotees. And by seeing them in the devotees, we can understand those qualities. So in the same way, we can understand Lord Nrsimhadev through revelation by his devotees. So Hiranyakashipu, as it says in the purport that we just read, he was the personification of material desire. Actually, he was so materialistic that everyone was nobody liked him, but everyone was terrified of him, and so materialistic that that it was impossible. Even though the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared before him in his original form, he could not understand. Because, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani acharjuna bhavishyani chabhutani mam tu veda nakastana. He says, I understand everything, past, present, and future, but me, nobody understands. And previous to that, he says, why don't they understand? Naham prakasha sarvasha yogamaya samavrittaha mudo yam nabijananti loko mam yoko yam ajam abhyayam. People cannot understand me because there is a curtain of Maya that doesn't allow them to understand. And also because mudho ayam, they are fools and rascals. Na bijanati, and therefore this knowledge, which is revealed knowledge, never comes to them because they can't understand that I am Ajam and I am Lokanam. They see me as a great personality, but they don't see me as birthless and they don't see me as deathless. So it's very difficult to see the Lord, very difficult. And 10th canto, or 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, because Arjuna is asking him about his about how to understand him, and Krishna says that Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya aham adir hidevanam maharshinam chasarvashaha. He says that even the host of the demigods, nor the maharshis or the maharishis can really understand me. I am the source of because I am the source, their source. And because of that, they can't fully understand me. They can understand, just like a small child cannot understand the mother. No. So he said, Krishna said like that. And also in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya aham ivam vido Arjuna gyatum drashtum chatatvaina prapishtum cha paramatapa. He says that but only by undivided and unmotivated devotional service can one understand me as I am. Gyatum, know me, drashtum, see me, and pravishtum, enter into the mysteries of my very understanding. Very few people can do this. And therefore, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not understandable. In the Upanishads, it says, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo, that I cannot be understood by lectures or conferences. Namedaya Nashutena, nor by great intelligence, nor by reading many scriptures or many books or hearing many things about me. But Yam Ivaisha Vinute Tanum Swam, that I can be, I remain concealed to those persons. But Tasyaisha Atma Vivinute Tanum Swam. But for those who have explicit faith in me and devotion, I reveal myself to those persons who have that progressive mentality. So, so I wanted to go back a little bit now. In the beginning of the description of Hiranyakashipu and his activities, it says that Hiranyakashipu, I just made a few little notes here. He appears to show that everyone will see God either by worshiping him or by having him come in the form of death. But when he comes in the form of death, it's not so favorable. Although fear of the moment of death is many times the impetus for worshiping Krishna. Just like Parikshit Maharaj, although he was worshiping Krishna, he wasn't asking such serious questions until he had only 7 days to live. And there's so many instances. Gajendra, when a devotee is in great anxiety, he has to call out to the Lord, because as the purport which we just read said, the proper prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead for a pure devotee is Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, is that I am your insignificant servant and I offer my obeisances to you and to your devotees. So this is the mentality of a devotee. A devotee, it may be difficult to maintain many things, but if we simply become devotees of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada said that if you know Krishna, you know everything. So when we have knowledge in Krishna consciousness, just like Srila Prabhupada could speak to scientists just like he were another scientist. He could speak to writers because he was a writer. He could speak to philosophers because he was a philosopher. Otherwise, just as Prahlad Maharaj says a little later on, which we won't read, but he says that, well, let me just read the verse. It's just right here. And, I just have to. Let's see. Anyway, the verse, famous verse, Yashasti Bhaktir Bhagavat Kinchana, Savar Gunais Tatra Samasate Sura. When a person is totally surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to Krishna, then he acquires all the good qualities of the demigods and of the devotees. But Harava Bhakta Sikuto Mahadguna Manorasinatina Dhavato Bahi. But when a person has all kinds of good qualities according to material calculation, but is devoid of bhakti, all of his good qualities are considered to be basically useless. And they just keep him on the mental platform, the chariot of the mind, and in the mental platform. So this is a very important point, that we want to serve Krishna in the best way possible. We want to please him, and so this is there was a point that Srila Prabhupada made. Another point which I mentioned this morning is that just as Rupa Goswami gives the example of a person has a lover, usually a housewife. She does all her housework very nicely, but she's always thinking of the lover. So when the Supreme Personality of Godhead inspires us, and we're really Krishna conscious, then we can do all of our material duties, work, family, friendship, society, and still always remember Krishna. But if you don't have established Krishna very firmly within the mind and within the heart, then all these duties will overwhelm us. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of computers. Just like we have computers, because one devotee, one disciple of his, he said that, Prabhupada, now we have computers. Prabhupada, yes, computer means thousands of men without work. Although so many people will lose their job because the computer is so efficient. So he said, so the owner of the business is thinking, yeah, I pay less wages, I just get a computer. But then so many people will be out of work, they will go on welfare, and the government will charge more taxes. So ultimately you will end up paying the same. So Prabhupada gave that example to show how the material world is just cyclic. No matter what you do, you're always thrown back under the modes of nature. As Krishna says, Yayedam Dharate Jagat. We try to conquer nature, but nature always conquers us. How many people, how many countries, how many societies have been able to thwart off a hurricane or a tornado? Only Krishna. Krishna is the only one I know of who could defeat a tornado. Trinavarta. But other than Krishna, who can defeat a tornado, an earthquake, a hurricane? No one. So these are some points that Srila Prabhupada has made. One other point that I wanted to, a point I made this morning also, that Hiranyakashipu, we considered him to be dastardly, the worst of all demons. But he didn't kill, he let his son live 5 years before he killed him. But the demons of Kali Yuga are so low class that they kill their children in the womb. They don't even give them a chance to chant Hare Krishna or to develop some degree of consciousness. So this is the audience that we have for Krishna consciousness. And therefore we have to be very patient and always always ask Lord Nrsimhadev to please protect us from those desires that overwhelm our heart and keep us from entering into the realm of bhakti. So Hiranyakashipu begged Lord Nrsimhadev, begged Lord Brahma to get a greater kingdom than himself. He was so greedy. We're all so greedy. We also think, Lord, give me this, give me that, and then I will be able to worship you properly. Of course, because we're aspiring to be devotees of the Lord, then when we ask him something, it's usually somehow we relate it to being a better devotee. Although Srila Prabhupada, quoting from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Madhya Lila, 12th chapter, the cleansing of the Gundicha temple, Srila Prabhupada says that the worst mistake you can make, quoting Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is to think that my material good fortune is coming from bhakti. Although that can actually happen, if you think that way, then you lose the benefit of the bhakti and you simply gain the material objects. So what is the most important thing? What is the thing that makes us happy? Is Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, Hiranyakashipu, he wanted his empire, the whole universe. And there have been so many empires, the Greek Empire, Roman Empire, Turkish Empire, or Ottoman Empire, and so many empires. They have power for some time, and then they lose. Exactly as Hiranyakashipu, he created his little kingdom, that kingdom, a universe. Lord Brahma, he was also bewildered by the universe. And one time when he wanted to request something from Krishna, he went to the gates of Vaikuntha, and the messenger at the gates of Vaikuntha said, "So who are you?" And Brahma was totally devastated. "What do you mean, who am I? I'm Brahma." He said, "Yes, I know that, but which Brahma?" And Brahma was very confused. And then the Lord smiled and let him in, and he offered obeisances. And when he looked up, there were hundreds and thousands of Brahmas, all with more heads than him, offering obeisances. So we shouldn't think that if I get this, as Arjuna said in the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, I don't think there's any solution to my anxiety. Even if I gain a kingdom with no rival and all the opulences of the heavenly planets, I still won't be happy. So when we come to the point of understanding that real happiness comes from Krishna, from his devotees, from devotional service, because it's a lasting happiness. All the other happinesses of this material world are fleeting, and we can never be fully satisfied by them. So to see Krishna, we have to be qualified. To see Lord Nrsimhadev. In the case of Hiranyakashipu, he saw him standing right before him, but he couldn't recognize him. In the case of Prahlad Maharaj, he was constantly thinking of the Lord. Therefore, however the Lord would appear before him, he was totally satisfied and happy with that. So we shouldn't think that I can see the Lord, or that the Lord doesn't exist, like the atheistic people, they think, well, if I can't see him, he doesn't exist. But just like a blind person can't see the objects around him, but he knows they exist. You know? Or a young child cannot see things through logic and understanding, but they're there, and all that information and logic and knowledge is there, but he can't see it because he's blind. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj said, Andayatandayar upaniyamanas Pipisha tantriyam urudam nibadha. That this material existence is very difficult because we're blind, and the people who are leading us are blind, and therefore we become cheated by those more blind people than ourselves, and on top of that, becoming bewildered and blind, we're caught up by the ropes, strong ropes of the three modes of material nature. So being misguided and then being totally under control of the three modes of material nature, we lose our perspective of what is the real purpose of life. So Prahlad Maharaj explained to his father, who was so demoniac, worshiping Lord Brahma falsely or superficially just to get what he wanted. How can he possibly have something auspicious? So Hiranyakashipu repeatedly asked Prahlad what he learned, and Prahlad always referred to devotional service. First he said Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and to the point of Atmanivedanam. Srila Prabhupada emphasized in his class that he gave on that, the Sakyam or friendship. Krishna is always giving us his friendship. He is within our hearts as Paramatma, always trying to convince us. But we don't reciprocate with that same friendship, because friendship means if we have a friend who's very dear to us and he tells us, you don't look well, we will immediately go to the mirror because we trust our friend. So if we really trust Krishna and we have faith that he says, Sarvadamam pajicha jamam enkam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaya shami ma shaha, that he will protect us, and that the devotee will never perish. If we really believe that and we understand he's our most intimate friend, then we won't deviate from his instructions and from his indications. Another point that I wanted to make is about modern technology and knowledge. So Srila Prabhupada made this point, emphasized this point, that materialistic life that attracts us so much is based on ever increasing technology, how to enjoy life more, how to be more comfortable, how to be more satisfied in material existence. And therefore, their technology is just processed information. It's not knowledge. Sometimes we feel like I don't need all this knowledge of Bhagavatam because I can go to the internet and find out anything. But that is just information. Internet means information. And Srila Prabhupada's books, Krishna consciousness, means perfect knowledge. So the desire to acquire more and more material things increases the desire to eliminate the presence of Krishna from my life, for the most part, only when I need him. Sometimes, of course, any of you who grew up in US or other places, you have this jack in the box. You wind it up, and then at one point, the little clown comes out. So we can't treat Krishna like that. Like, let me wind him up, when I need him, and he'll pop out and I'll say, Krishna, I need this. I'm so sorry. Please help me. Please help me with this and that. And then as soon as we have it, we put Krishna back in the box. You know? So Krishna doesn't accept that. And therefore, if we don't accept his instructions, Shastra, then he gives us Shastra, the three modes of material nature, which will teach us and beat into us the real understanding of life. So, so those are the main points I wanted to make. Just one more set of points, and then I'll stop. That I'm just extending myself a little more than usual because it's a festival day. Of course, some people are still engaged in the festival taking prasadam, but anyway, that's normal. At least in Trinidad, it's already dusk, so that means prasadam time. You know, we don't want to miss out on the right time, so that's good. So the last point, Prahlad Maharaj offered 3 prayers when Hiranyakashipu asked him for the last time, why are you associating? Why are you accusing my Brahmins of where do you get this knowledge from? Where is it coming from? And Prahlad Maharaj said, don't worry. Materna Krishna parato sato va nipo vipadyata. That, my dear father, you don't have to worry because it will never happen to you. No. You will never understand Krishna through explanations, through conferences, or by your own understanding, because you are griha vratanam. You are determined to enjoy this world. And adanta gobir tamishram vishatam tamishram. Because of your uncontrolled senses, you are gliding down into material existence and punar charvita charvananam. And therefore you're chewing the chewed. You're trying to enjoy this material world. And he said, why are you trying to enjoy this material world? Because natevitu swartakatim hi Vishnu. Because you don't understand that the maximum benefit is coming from Vishnu. Therefore, durashaya, you're forced to work very hard, bahirartha manina, because your mind is absorbed in external things. And therefore you are blind. So how can you give up this blindness? Prahlad Maharaj, even though his father was a demon, even though he just told his father that you'll never understand Krishna. But just like sometimes we see people, they don't seem to be unfavorable. But at least we want to leave them with the Mahamantra or some prasadam or something else. So therefore we say, well, take this, here, have a cupcake or have a piece of pizza, or can you say Krishna? We try to get them somehow or another. So Prahlad Maharaj, he figured, I have to tell him what to do, even though I know he won't do it. So then he said a famous verse by Prahlad Maharaj. And there's also a corresponding famous verse from Jadbharat. So Prahlad Maharaj said, Naisham matis tavad unukramam grim. I explained this morning that he uses anukrama, who takes big steps to get his devotee to surrender to him. So Krishna is taking big steps, being our only real friend, to give us the possibility to surrender to him. And by doing so, by surrendering to him, we can overcome all the anarthas and all the unnecessary things in our life. But unfortunately, we don't do that. So, Mahishanam Pararajo Bhishekam, only by taking the dust of a devotee, of a pure devotee on your head, Niskinchananam na Vinitayavat. Only by that way and not by any other way can you become Niskinchana, or free from all material material existence and material confusion, only by this way. So he gave him the formula. Of course, what did Hiranyakashipu do after that? Kill him. And he sent Prahlad to be tortured and tortured. But Prahlad Maharaj survived. Srila Prabhupada said, don't imitate Prahlad Maharaj. Don't jump into a vat of boiling oil. Don't put yourself, don't jump off a cliff and think that I won't get hurt. Prabhupada said, better wait until you're like Prahlad Maharaj. Then you can do all those things. If you become like Prahlad Maharaj, you can jump into a vat of boiling oil and no problem. But we don't imitate. We try to understand what is Prahlad Maharaj's consciousness? What does he want to teach us? And what he wanted to teach us, this is my conclusion, 2 verses which I quoted this morning, but these are very important verses, that he doesn't want to see the material. I already spoke the first one. He doesn't want to see people get absorbed in material consciousness because they turn their back to him in pursuit of making big arrangements for material desires. But then Prahlad Maharaj said, even though they're so foolish, no, Naitat vihaya kripana vimamuksha eko. Even though they're rascals, no, these materialistic people, I cannot follow the example of the general saintly people who deva prayena munaya, no, munaya, they were praying to munaya, swavi mukti kama, who are only thinking of their own liberation. No. Those people, Bhajanti charane bijane na para artha, they are never interested in the welfare of others. They simply wander in the forests, meditating, looking out for their own welfare. And he said, so even though all these people who don't obey you are kripanas, they're miserly, nasty, with people with nasty habits, still I cannot give them up. Because why can I not give them up? Nanyam todasyasya sharanam brahmato nupasye. Because other than your lotus feet, other than your mercy, I can see no solution for them. This was Prahlad Maharaj's compassion. And this is the compassion that Prahlad Maharaj said millions of years ago that applies to today, still applies for today. We should see, and how do we see? We see through the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, through the devotees, through hearing, that all these materialistic activities will end in so much frustration, and therefore we should see that the only solution is the lotus feet of Krishna, the lotus feet of Nrsimhadev, lotus feet of Ramachandra, the lotus feet of the Lord. This is how we can escape material existence. So these are some thoughts I had on this verse and on these verses and on Lord Nrsimhadev's appearance day. So I'll stop here. Are there any questions? You can either put the questions in the chat or the person who's monitoring this can also put you on if you're on Zoom. So here's a question. Hare Krishna. Most people want to see God and want proof. How can we explain it easily so that they can understand the existence of God? Well, easily, some of Srila Prabhupada's arguments is that just like we see everything is arranged perfectly in nature, although nature has the tendency to disintegrate by the laws of science, matter doesn't usually come together. Matter usually separates. Matter usually disintegrates. But we see matter perfectly integrated. And therefore, We must. But Srila Prabhupada said that how can we know that Krishna exists? He just said this in one lecture. And one devotee said, because he says so in the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada said, yeah, but these are just some books, some Hindu books. And then one devotee said, because it is logical that there's a supreme person who controls everything. And he said, yeah, that's just the fanatical religionists. And they gave many different answers. And then finally, one devotee said, we chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, yes, this is scientific. You will understand that God exists by conducting a verifiable experiment. That when you chant this holy name properly, it has to be properly. Because just like if you're in a laboratory mixing chemicals, if the temperature is not right, if the conditions are not right, then the reaction will not come about. So this is also the situation. If we chant Hare Krishna properly without offenses, we will see God. But Srila Prabhupada said that that they want to see God. So Srila Prabhupada would always say, what is your qualification? Just like a young boy may want to understand calculus or may want to understand philosophy. But how will you explain it? First, he must have the qualification. Then he can understand. So these are proofs, and there's so many proofs. But the fact, also Srila Prabhupada said, the fact that we want to exist and we don't want to die shows that there is an eternality. And the Vedas say, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. There are so many eternal living entities who don't want to die. But the one who is never confronted with the idea of death is Krishna, the Supreme Person. And there are so many conscious people who are conscious of their body or conscious. We're not even fully conscious of our body. We don't regulate our heartbeat. We don't regulate our breathing. Sometimes we may go, but normally we don't even pay attention. So we can't even fully understand this body, what to speak of everything around us. But Krishna understands everything perfectly. So, and everything is thus perfectly arranged. So I'll see, are there any other questions? Here's
Hare Krishna.
Achala Dharaka.
Hare Krishna Gurudev. We cannot imitate Prahlad Maharaj, but shouldn't we try to follow in his footsteps in trying to help deliver conditioned souls?
Ruta, you're with this one?
Well, we have two people speaking now. Achala Dharaka was speaking. Let's let him finish.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, are you hearing me?
Yes, now I can hear. Someone else came in.
Yeah. You said that we can't and we shouldn't try to imitate Prahlad Maharaj, but shouldn't we try to follow in his footsteps in trying to help deliver conditioned souls? Should we be in that mood?
Well, the first mode should be, let me become absorbed in the Lord. Let me accept whatever condition that the Lord imposes. This all happened before Prahlad Maharaj spoke about preaching. First, he was subjected to so many difficulties by his father. Of course, sometimes our father can give us some difficulty also. But to the extreme that he wanted to kill him. So first thing we try to understand of Prahlad Maharaj is how we can come to that point of accepting whatever Krishna gives us as his mercy. And then you can come to the point of being a preacher. Of course, since Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encourages us also, all of us, to preach to some degree, we can give out a book, we can speak to people, but we shouldn't try to convince them too strongly of something unless we're able to follow it. There's the story of Mahatma Gandhi, who was, people would come to see him for advice. So one lady came and said, how can I stop my son? Please tell him to stop eating sweets. And he thought for a minute and he said, please come back next week and I will tell you. So she came back next week and he said, my dear boy, too many sweets can make you sick and they can cause problems in your metabolism. And the boy said, okay, Mahatma Gandhi. And so the mother said, thank you, sir. But why did you tell me to come back next week or now? And he said, because I had to stop eating too many sweets. So we should be exemplary in the execution of devotional service, and then people will actually listen to us and pay attention. And even then, many of them will not follow, but at least they will keep in mind that this is what I should do. This is a good idea. And then we can preach vigorously. We have to be very convinced to preach vigorously, otherwise people won't listen to us. It says here, Chitra Devi wants to ask someone. I guess that someone is me. No.
Yes, yeah. Hare Krishna Gurudev. Nice to see you again today. So my question is about intentions. So we, as a devotees, we offer food to Krishna with intention. We chant the Maha Mantra with intention. When we want to preach also with intention. But in the case of those who are outside, let's say they are not devotees, we want to preach them, like you say, giving something, even if they are not very favorable, maybe giving some prasadam, or or maybe invite them to home and we can have some kirtan or something. My question is, if they don't have any intention, I mean, if they maybe accept the prasadam because, well, it looks good, but they don't have any intention to actually get any improve in their spiritual path or something like that. So is that actually is beneficial for them still?
Srila Prabhupada said our duty is to approach someone and give them whatever transcendental knowledge or whatever degree of Krishna consciousness we can give, but ultimately it will be up to Krishna how much they can receive. Krishna within the heart will examine, are they ready? Or do they just need this introduction to Krishna consciousness of taking a little prasadam and purifying so many sinful activities, and then sometime in the future, because a devotee goes beyond time and space. A devotee knows that Krishna is, if I can just get this person to do something, then even if it's not right away, at some point in time, they will take up Krishna consciousness. And a devotee has that faith. And the more faith we have in that, the more potent our offering will be. Otherwise, we think, well, what's the use, I've given out 5,000 plates of prasadam in Gainesville. And, I just see they like us, but, they just come and eat every day, give a little donation, and they're not really becoming devotees. So better I do something else. So if we don't have, then they will get some benefit. But if we have determination, they will feel that love, that compassion. It will come through. And the Lord will say, my devotee wants this person to become my devotee, therefore I will facilitate it. But sometimes we become puffed up and we think I'm the doer, and therefore Krishna frustrates all of our attempts until we develop sufficient humility. Because preaching requires more than anything else humility and tolerance. Because, as you say, people don't want it. I always say that we have the worst business in the world in the sense of logic. We want to offer something that nobody wants. We want to convince them to follow principles that they all break, you know, and we want to give them a lifestyle that they can't even imagine. You know? So that's why it's difficult, because we're swimming against the current. You know? And but a devotee is never disturbed by these things, because the devotee has faith that Krishna is arranging things perfectly. I simply should perform my service to him with utsahan nishtaya dhairyat, with great enthusiasm, faith, and patience, following everything properly. And then I can contribute to making the greatest result.
Thank you, brother.
So here's a question all the way from England. Among all rasas, is Krishna more approachable through Sakya Ras? Actually, Krishna is more approachable through Dasya Ras, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, everyone in Vrindavan and everyone in every rasa is performing Dasya. They're all serving Krishna. Where where those in Dasya Ras cannot understand Sakya, it's actually disturbing for them. Or someone in Sakya Ras can never understand, nor does Krishna ever show it to them, his activities with the gopis. And Sakya Ras, they can understand a little bit Vatsalya Ras, and Vatsalya Ras can understand. But no one in Vrindavan can understand or approach Krishna through Madhurya Ras. Sakya Ras is easier than Madhurya Ras. It's easier than to approach Krishna, a little bit easier. But everyone should approach Krishna through Dasya Ras. And then, because even if I'm situated on a higher platform, I teach other people Dasya, how to surrender to Krishna with humility and with good qualities. And then Krishna will arrange that it's not that we say, well, Sakya Ras, Dasya, Madhurya, it sounds better for me. Let me do Madhurya Ras. Not like a marketplace. No, which rasa do I want? So yes, but Dasya Ras is the best. And of course, even to get to Dasya Ras, generally we have to enter into Shanta Ras, or appreciation, appreciation. And then when that appreciation becomes active, it becomes Dasya Ras. Even appreciation with love and devotion, like in the case of Prasad Maharaj, we don't see that Prahlad did this service or that service. We don't see that so much, but we see that he was explaining the science of Krishna consciousness, and he was desiring for that. And of course, he did do great service, but his main rasa was just to appreciate Krishna and glorify Krishna. So here we have another question. You have said that we are expected to see through the devotees the immediate experiences of life through scriptures and sadhus. That this is a terrible place, strange to our intimate original nature. So we can finally understand that our only refuge is Krishna. That is the revelation. That is the revelation Srila Prabhupada gave us in all of his books, in his commentaries. There is currently a polarization between those who prefer his original writings over the edited, revised, final editions. But wouldn't it be that to substitute the supreme reality, the revelation itself, for its particular form of transmission, is to take the news instead of the reality to which it points out? Yes, of course, this is, I was explaining a little bit this morning that there are different ways to look at editing Srila Prabhupada's books. One is that Srila Prabhupada revealed everything in his books, but on the other hand, many of the things he said about Bhagavad Gita in Bhagavad Gita were not properly recorded because devotees didn't understand it. So what's better, to have the 1976 edition, or later on when devotees started listening to the tapes and could understand them better, to actually have what Prabhupada said? So what is better? Someone will prefer what was there when they joined. Most people will probably prefer what Prabhupada said, actually wanted to be there. But for many new people who are approaching, it may be very important to them that the style, the grammar, the essence can never be changed, but that the style, the grammar, some adjustments can be there. And by seeing that the proper literary form, they're attracted to hear the philosophy. So I always recommend that we should have all of these things available. Something for the newcomers, something for those who are rooted in just seeing the revealed reality that Srila Prabhupada expressed, and for those who want to adjust everything according to what Srila Prabhupada's original manuscripts and his manuscripts and recordings. So I see that all things, my suggestion to the BBT is have everything available. Even though it costs more to maintain it, that will satisfy the greater number of devotees. That's how I see it. But this, you can hear different devotees and they'll have different ideas. So here's a question. Why did Prahlad Maharaj reject what the Lord offered him and afterwards accepted? What he rejected was that Lord Nrsimhadev wanted to offer him something in exchange for his service and for his prayers. He said, I'm not doing business with you, my Lord. And then he said, well, ask me for something else. So Prahlad Maharaj asked. So first he rejected the idea that we're doing an interchange. He wanted simply to perform unmotivated devotional service. But then when the Lord insisted, he said, all right, save my father. But Lord Nrsimhadev assured him that your father is already saved. And then he asked for pure devotional service. And the Lord said, you already have it. So there's no need to give it to you. Therefore, this is what I want you to do. And immediately Prahlad Maharaj accepted it. Even though he wasn't so inclined to be a king or to rule over the world, but because his Lord asked him to do it, he accepted it. Just as many devotees, they wanted to do something else, but the Lord said, no, I want you to do this. And they accept. Just like Damodar Pandit, he was trying to correct Lord Chaitanya. And what he said was true. But Lord Chaitanya told another devotee, I think he should go to Bengal and give him a message for my mother, because it's not proper for him to try to correct me. Even though what he's saying is true, it's not proper that he tries to correct a superior. And what to speak of the superior is the Lord himself. So Prahlad Maharaj didn't reject what the Lord told him to accept, just in the same way that Priyavrata was reluctant to accept the instruction of Swayambhuva Manu. But then when Lord Brahma instructed him to do it, then he immediately did it. So sometimes the devotee has a right to an opinion or to express himself or to question, but once his authority or his guru or the Supreme Lord gives him the instruction, he should accept it. here comes a question. Many times women are badly abused because we are told Trinadapi Sunichena, etc. Trinadapi Sunichena, as I explained also this morning, to be very humble and to be very tolerant is an internal condition. It's a condition that we should accept to overcome our false ego. But when it comes to defending our service or defending our dignity as devotees, then we also have the right to demand or to request external justice. So external justice means that if someone is acting contrary to the laws of nature, the laws of the state, the spiritual laws, then they should be chastised. But within the heart of the devotee, a devotee understands by Trinadapi Sunichena, he understands that this is happening to me because of my past activities. But he can still, or he or she can still demand justice. You know? So we should never justify doing something in the name, just like the first time I went to India, I saw these Bhagavad Gitas in the airport, Bhagavad Gita verses in the airport. And of course, I was pretty new devotee, so I didn't know all the verses. And I said, wow, India is so spiritual. They have the Bhagavad Gita in the airport. And one devotee who was a much older devotee than me, he said, yeah, but all of these verses say work hard. So they're exploiting Krishna to try to get people to work harder. They're not instructing people how to surrender to the Lord. So in the same way, just because the natural psychological position of a woman is to be supportive to the husband, if the husband is not supportive to her, if he's not kind, gentle, preaches, gives a good example, has controlled senses, then as Srila Prabhupada says in 9th canto, she can just reject him. She can give him up. This is not old Vedic times where a woman jumps into the fire of her husband. That this is not that time. That was a practice, but it was never forced on them. They wanted to do it because they could not stand to live without this wonderful personality who was protecting them. But there's so much abuse that goes on in the name of men are superior. Men are not superior. Men in the Vedic scheme are not superior. Women's qualities are admired by a properly educated person, just that their roles are different. One has a supportive role, the other one has a protective role. And if those are done properly, then everyone, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, is psychologically happy. But if one is psychologically abusive and the other one is psychologically disturbed, then that's a formula for disaster, not only for the couple, but for people who will hear about it and read about it. And even the woman becomes so frustrated, she gives up Krishna consciousness and goes on the internet and says, this philosophy is just exploiting women or children or anybody. So our motto is that I am a servant. If we all have the mentality of a servant, these things won't happen. So here's a question. It's understandable that when non-devotees behave in a demoniac way, that non-devotees behave in a demoniac way, but when devotees behave like that, how should we react? Many times women are badly abused because, oh, this is the same thing. So, yes, it's unfortunate. This is not always demoniac. If it's bad abuse, it's demoniac. If it's misinterpretation of Srila Prabhupada's instructions, it's ignorance. But ignorance or abuse or whatever, it is not justifiable. So I hope I've already answered that question. That a devotee behaves in that way, Prabhupada says in the 9th canto, that the wife can leave him. Or women who are under the charge of such a person can reject him or tell higher authorities, this person is abusive. Don't take away his authority. That's what we should do. We should demand external justice, but internally we should always understand that this is not happening. This is not just happening by chance, that I am ultimately responsible. So apart from demanding external justice, I have to establish internal justice. So here's a question. There is a chapter where they are comparing the relationship of Queen Kunti, meaning she understands he is the supreme person, whilst Mother Yashoda saw him as her beloved son and loved him as such. And this is one of the highest forms of devotion, unconditional love. Therefore, how should we see Krishna? We see Krishna according to our rasa. Otherwise, Kunti Devi, seeing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was maximum for her. Although she could understand Yashoda's love, she could never relate to Krishna in that way. No. Just like Anupama, the brother of Rupa and Sanatan. He saw how Rupa and Sanatan were totally surrendered, and their only worshipable Lord was Lord Chaitanya. And Rupa and Sanatan were encouraging him, just worship Lord Chaitanya. He is the highest manifestation of Godhead. And Anupama said, yes, I see that, but I cannot give up my Lord Ramachandra. And he said that to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya showed him the form of Ramachandra. And he said, you should always worship me as Lord Ramachandra. So the rasa, Nityasiddha Krishna Prem Sadhu Kavinoi. Our eternal rasa is already there in seed form. And once it develops, that will be our inclination. And it's not like, well, wait a minute, Dasya Ras, Sakyara, I want Sakya. Wait a minute, Vatsalya, that seems better, because I can tell Krishna what to do. Dasya Ras, I have to obey him. So let me, I'm going for Vatsalya Ras, and I can punish Krishna. I can demand something from Krishna. So a devotee is always satisfied in their rasa. Just like even in the Varnashram system, we can see that a person who is Shudra nature, they're very happy doing hard labor for Krishna, especially if it's for Krishna. But they're happy when they're engaged properly with the proper person who engages them, a kind Vaishya, a kind Kshatriya, who keeps them in line, but at the same time gives them everything they need. They're happy. A Kshatriya is happy when he fights. A Brahmin doesn't want to fight with anyone, but he may fight philosophically. So each one will when they're properly educated, will act according to their nature, and especially if someone is situated in their eternal rasa. So here's a question. Oh, I think this is, in our material conception, how can I beg to not forget our Sanatan Dharma as an aspirant to serve Srila Prabhupada? How can I? We shouldn't have material conception. No. We should, that's, I think this is Ananda Vardhana, and is very happy to see him be in touch. We should not have a material conception. Material conception means division. Therefore, Krishna said that Vyavasikatmika Buddhire Keha Kuru Nandana Bahu Shakya Hyanantascha. That those who have one vision, Eka Bahuna, that that the vision is one. Krishna is everything, and everything I do is for Krishna, even if it's material activity. But if a person, Bahu Shakya Hyanantascha, with the material conception, their consciousness, their mentality is divided. My family department, economic department, recreational department, and spiritual department. But we should never think in that divided way. We should think that Krishna is giving me this wonderful gift of Krishna consciousness, and therefore I am engaged in Krishna consciousness, and I will always be engaged in Krishna consciousness. And if we think that way, Krishna will help us to serve Srila Prabhupada perfectly. So that's the end of the questions here. It is getting to be a little late. Oh, it's still light out, so we can't take prasadam here. No. But so here's another one. From me to everyone. That's interesting. I'm asking. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is not really from me. This is from my disciples. That we're going to work that out. No. Oh, here, sending this message on behalf of Mahananda, Hare Krishna from the Madhuvan farm. Hare Krishna to you, and thank you for maintaining this wonderful mentality of simplicity and cultivating Krishna consciousness in the way that Srila Prabhupada said is our ultimate preaching. Our ultimate preaching is to show people how that grains, land, and cows is real wealth. Even the devotees, sometimes they think, no, wealth means having a lot of money. But Prabhupada said wealth means cows, grains, and land. Because even if you have millions of dollars, just like this COVID-19 thing, so many people can't work. So many people are losing money. Many people haven't been able to eat properly. But if someone has land and cows and grains, COVID or no COVID, war or no war, they're perfectly situated. So we should see that. Thank you very much, Mahananda, for being so diligent and struggling, even though so many people don't like this so-called difficult lifestyle. When I was on the farm in Nova Gokula, the first month was torture. I got bit by every bug in the region. I got stung by everything. I got bit by a snake. I got butted by a big cow with sharp horns. Everything was miserable. There was no prasadam. We were taking banana peel soup and beans every day. That was our. But after a month, the bugs stopped biting. The cow started liking me. And we could have more opulent prasadam. So, and it became very wonderful. And then when I went back to Sao Paulo, it was hellish. First the farm was hellish, then Sao Paulo was hellish. And then I realized that in Krishna consciousness, nothing is hellish. It's just a question of accepting Krishna's mercy in whatever condition he puts us in. Can I explain how Hiranyakashipu was saved after he died? Yes. He was saved because Jai and Vijay, they took 3 different births, And so after Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they became Ravana, and his brother was Ravana and Kumbhakarna. And then after that, they became, what's his name? Dantavakra and Shishupal. So, and then in Chaitanya Lila, they became Kamsa and the Shah. So they got an extra additional boost of helping the Lord in his pastime. So they were always devotees, but they were taking a different role. Just like sometimes we like to do a certain service, and then the person in charge says, "No, I want you to clean the pots." So if we're not very Krishna conscious, we'll think the pots. No, I don't want to clean the pots. I want to worship the deity. But a very Krishna conscious devotee will think, oh, this is what Krishna needs. Let me do it. So same thing. Jai and Vijay enthusiastically became demons. Now the reason they became demons, although it says that they chose three births as a demon or 7 births as a devotee or as a Brahmin or a devotee, that 3 births is less time. That was one reason. But the main reason was they thought Krishna is offering us to become demons. Krishna doesn't want his devotee to be a demon. Therefore, he must have some purpose, some service for us as demons. Therefore, let us become demons. That was their main motivation. And therefore, they never gave up the sense of devotional service. They just forgot who they were. So I would like to end with begging all of you to pray, because all the Vaishnavas, prayers of all the Vaishnavas are very wonderful. Our wonderful Guru, GBC, Sannyasi, His Holiness Bhakti-Bhushan Swami, has had a very heavy turn. He's contracted encephalitis. Encephalitis is a very serious disease that attacks the brain and makes us forget. So I beg everyone to please pray on this day of Lord Nrsimha Dev for his recovery, quick recovery. Fortunately, he caught it in time. I know another devotee who didn't catch it in time, and he forgot even his own name. He didn't even know who he was, who his wife was, who his daughter was, who anything. So Maharaj, he knows who I spoke to him today, and he's weak and a little frustrated being in the hospital, but he's fully conscious, even though his memory has been affected. So we should all pray to Lord Nrsimha Dev to protect him and bring him out of that difficult condition, which is an example to all of us that anything can happen to us anytime. We shouldn't think that, well, I'm young, I got my life ahead of me, I got enough money. No, we can have everything. We can be the topmost preacher or spiritual guide, and something can happen to us. But something happens to a devotee like him because he's teaching others how, in spite of the greatest difficulty, we maintain our Krishna consciousness. And we give that example to others. So we all want to advance in Krishna consciousness, but sometimes we don't want to pay the price. Either the price of getting there or the price of staying there and being an example for others. I've heard some devotees say, yeah, I would like to advance, but I'm afraid that if I advance too much, then Krishna will start putting me through all kinds of tests. So better I just kind of stay here on the, Tatastha platform between neophyte and pure devotee. But if we do that, we've automatically demoted ourselves to Maha neophyte. So therefore, let us accept Krishna's mercy however it comes. So I want to thank you all for your attention, for your participation, for your association. And I hope that we can do this as much often as possible. The next class in English, I will have to set that. I'm going to start in about 2 weeks or a little more. I'm going to start doing 1 day English, 1 day Spanish, 1 day English, 1 day Spanish. I'm still taking care of some things, so I won't be able to do that right away. So let's put the next English class for next Wednesday. We'll have an English class. I will do that. I would like to do it earlier so that those in Europe, like in England or something, I have a few disciples so that they can also tune in. So I would say, if it's all right with all of you, who are probably on a stay-home basis anyway, if we can do it at 10 a.m. my time, which would be 11 a.m. Trinidad time, and which would be 5 p.m. Europe time or 4 p.m. England time. So I hope that's okay. So we'll plan it like that. And the next Spanish class will be Friday morning at 9 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. Eastern time, Trinidad time, although there's not many Spanish-speaking devotees in Trinidad, except for Chakrapani and maybe someone else. And I will publish the verse. I'll ask Presh to publish the verse. I haven't really decided on it by this afternoon or tomorrow morning at the latest. So thank you all very much. All glory to Sri Guru, Sri Nrshimha Avirbhava Mahotsava ki jai, Sri Nrsimha Dev ki jai, Nrsimha Chaturmat ki jai, Sri Prasad Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanandi. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you to everyone.